Third, association center. Association center. This is neither purely sensory nor purely motor. Definitely this is not completely acts as the sensory center. This is not completely acts as the motor center. This is neither purely sensory nor motor means it may not be completely acts as the sensory center. It may not be completely acts as the motor center. Definitely this association center principally useful for complex reaction regulation. For regulation of the complex reactions, this association center principally useful. What are the complex reactions? Intersensory association means what here? Between the two sensory neurons to achieve the coordination, this center principally useful, that is said to be as the intersensory association. Definitely intersensory association means between the two sensory neurons it is principally achieve the coordination. Second complex reaction is memory. Memory establishment is the complex reaction. Third complex reaction is communication. Fourth complex reaction is motivation. Definitely this association center principally useful to regulate complex reaction in our body. What are the complex reactions means? Intersensory association is the complex. Intersensory association means achieving of the coordination between the two sensory neurons is said to be as the intersensory association. Definitely memory establishment, communication, motivation are the complex reactions. They are under the control of the association centers. Definitely these three types of the centers are present in all four lobes. In frontal lobe these three types of the centers are present. In parietal lobe these three types of the centers are present. In temporal lobe these three types of the centers are present. In occipital lobe also these three types of the centers are present. In addition to this three types of the centers, in each and every lobe, unique centers also present. Definitely what are the unique centers? Unique centers which are present in this four type of the lobes. First one is the Broca's speech area. This is the one center that is a unique for frontal lobe. Definitely in the case of the frontal lobe, this Broca's speech area is present. It is present in the frontal lobe. In the case of the frontal lobe, in addition to the sensory motor association center, another unique center which is present, that is said to be as the Broca's speech area. This is useful for the fluent speech. For speaking fluently, this kind of the Broca's speech area principally useful. Due to any reason, if this Broca speech area gets damaged, due to any reason, if the Broca speech area becomes non-functional, then person suffered with a disease that is the non-fluent aphasia. Non-fluent aphasia disease means, in this case, person is not able to speak properly, person is not able to spoken. Though the person is able to understand the words of the opposite person, though the person has the capacity to understand the words of the opposite person, but he is not able to deliver the words, he is not able to speak. That is said to be as the non-fluent aphasia. Due to any reason, Broca speech, if it is becomes non-functional, person loses the speech capacity. That is said to be as the non-fluent aphasia. Second one is the Wernicke's. Second one is the Wernicke's area. Wernicke's area. Second one is the Wernicke's area. This is present at the center between the parietal lobe and temporal lobe. This is the temporal lobe. Definitely Wernicke's area is present in left side between the parietal lobe and temporal lobe. Means this is the junction between the parietal and temporal lobe. Here Wernicke's area is present. Definitely it is present in left side at junction between parietal lobe and temporal lobe. Definitely Wernicke's area is present in left side at the junction between the parietal lobe and temporal lobe, but not in the right side. In the left side, definitely this is the reason for understanding of language. This Wernicke's area is responsible for the understanding of the speech of opposite person. Due to any reason, if this Wernicke's area becomes non-functional, definitely person is suffered with a disease that is said to be as the fluent aphasia. Definitely in the fluent aphasia, person speaks fluently, but such speech is meaningless. If this kind of the Wernicke's area becomes non-functional, person loses the understanding capacity of opposite person's speech. So that only person, though he can fluently speak, but that kind of the speech is without meaning. So that only meaningless words are gets delivered fluently from that kind of the person. If his Wernicke's area becomes non-functional, the disease is said to be as the fluent aphasia. Third center, unique center is the auditory center. Definitely auditory center is present in the temporal lobe. In temporal lobe, definitely auditory center is present. That is meant for the listening of the sound. For proper listening of the sound, this auditory center is present in the temporal lobe. Next to visual center. Visual center is present in the occipital lobe for the sight, for proper vision, for the proper sight. Definitely visual center is present in the occipital lobe. Definitely, in all this kind of the four lobes commonly, in all four lobes sensory center, motor center, association centers are present. In addition to them, uniquely other four type of the centers are present in the four lobes respectively. Broca's speech area is present in the frontal lobe, that is the first lobe. Wernicke's area is present at the junction between the parietal lobe and temporal lobe of left side. Auditory center is present in temporal lobe of both sides. Again, visual center is present in the occipital lobe. Visual center is principally useful for the vision, for sight. Auditory center is present for the listening of the sounds. In that way, centers are present in the case of the cerebral hemisphere. Again, next part which is present in the forebrain is said to be as the diencephalon. Next part which is present in the case of the brain, in the case of the forebrain, is said to be as the diencephalon. Just assume this is the brain, this is the cerebrum, this is said to be as the diencephalon. So definitely this is said to be as the cerebrum. Again, this is the diencephalon. That is said to be as the diencephalon, or this also called as the thalamencephalon. This is also called as the thalamencephalon. Diencephalon is also called as the thalamencephalon. Again, in the case of the diencephalon, whatever the roof which is present, this roof is said to be as the epithalamus. Roof is said to be as the epithalamus. This floor is said to be as the hypothalamus. Again, lateral walls are said to be as the thalamus or thalamic. Definitely in the case of the diencephalon, roof which is present, that is said to be as the epithalamus. Lateral walls which are present, they are said to be as the thalamus. Floor which is present, that is said to be as the hypothalamus. Again, when we observe the epithalamus, on the epithalamus, this blood capillary network which is present, that blood capillary network is said to be as the anterior choroid plexus. Definitely on the roof of the third ventricle, means that is the epithalamus. This is said to be as the epithalamus. Roof of the diencephalon is said to be as the epithalamus. On the epithalamus, blood capillary network which is present, which is without a neuron, that blood capillary network is said to be as the anterior choroid plexus. That is said to be as the anterior choroid plexus. Just behind to the anterior choroid plexus, a stalk which is present like this. A stalk which is present like this. This stalk is said to be as the pineal stalk. This stalk is said to be as the pineal stalk. This is said to be as the pineal stalk. This is the anterior choroid plexus. Just behind to that means this is position. The stalk which is arises, that is said to be as the pineal stalk. at the terminal part of the pineal stalk, whatever the rounded structure which is present, that is said to be as the pineal gland. This is said to be as the pineal gland. Definitely, pineal stalk is terminated with a gland, that is said to be as the pineal gland. That is principally useful to secrete a hormone, that is said to be as the melatonin. From the pineal gland, whatever the hormone which is secreted, that is said to be as the melatonin. Similarly, these are said to be as the lateral walls. These are said to be as the lateral walls. Lateral walls of the diencephalon is said to be as the thalamus. Lateral walls are said to be as the thalamus or thalami. Definitely this thalamus principally acts as coordinating center for both sensory and motor information. For both the sensory as well as the motor signals, this thalamus is principally acts as the coordinating center. What is the meaning of the coordinating center for both the sensory and motor signal means? This thalamus always allows pass of the sensory information towards the cerebrum, and from the cerebrum it always conduct the motor information to other part of the brain. Definitely, from the posterior part of the brain, whatever the sensory information which is collected, that sensory information is conducted to the cerebrum through thalamus, and from the cerebrum motor information is conducted to the posterior part of the brain. In that way, so definitely thalamus is acts as the coordinating center for both the sensory and motor signal means, definitely it always allows the conduction of sensory information from the posterior part of the brain towards the cerebrum, and also allows the motor information conduction from the cerebrum to posterior part of the brain. So in that way, it is principally acts as the coordinating center for the both the sensory and motor signal. Next, floor of the diencephalon is said to be as the hypothalamus. Floor of the diencephalon means this is the floor. Floor of the diencephalon is said to be as the hypothalamus. This is also called as thermostat of body. Why we call it is the thermostat? It always maintain constant body temperature. Hypothalamus is responsible for the maintenance of the constant body temperature. So that only this is said to be as the thermostat of body. Definitely hypothalamus is responsible to maintain constant body temperature, that is 37 degrees centigrade. So that only that is said to be as the thermostat. Again, in the case of the hypothalamus, whatever the neurons which are present, they may be secrete certain type of the hormone. So that kind of the neurons are said to be as the neurosecretory cells, or simply they are called as nuclei. Specifically in the case of the hypothalamus, These neurons which are present, they may be secrete certain type of the hormones. Such neurons are said to be as the neurosecretory cells or the nuclei. Whatever the hormones which are secreted from these neurosecretory cells, such hormones are said to be as the neurohormones. Whatever the neurons which are present in the hypothalamus, which secrete the hormone, that neurons are said to be as the neurosecretory cells or the nuclei. Hormones which are secreted from them are collectively called as the neurohormones. Again, definitely from the hypothalamus also, whatever the stock which is arises from the hypothalamus also, whatever the stock is projected to down, this stock is said to be as the infundibulum. This is said to be as the infundibulum. Stock which is present at the terminal part of the hypothalamus is said to be as the infundibulum. At the terminal part of the infundibulum, whatever the gland which is present, that is said to be as the pituitary gland. Whatever the gland which is present at the terminal part of the infundibulum, that gland is said to be as the pituitary gland. Specifically from the hypothalamus, whatever the stock which is projected to down, that is said to be as the infundibulum. At the terminal part of the infundibulum, whatever the gland which is present, that is said to be as the pituitary gland. Again, in the case of the hypothalamus, certain centers are present for regulation of various functions. Then what are the centers which are present in the hypothalamus? Definitely in the case of the hypothalamus also, centers in hypothalamus. In the case of the hypothalamus, certain centers are present. What are the centers are present in the hypothalamus to regulate the various body functions means? First one is the thermoregulatory center, that is useful for the regulation of the body temperature. Second one is the osmoregulatory center. Osmoregulatory center principally useful to regulate constant water and salt level in the body of the person. Osmoregulatory center which is present in the hypothalamus principally regulate constant water and salt level in the body of the person. Third one is the thirst center. Fourth one is the feeding center. Feeding or hunger center. Fifth one is the satiety center. Means what is the thirst center? Whenever the water levels in the person's body are decreases, this center gets activated immediately, that create a urge for drinking of water. Definitely whenever in the person's body water levels are gets decreases, this center gets activated, that immediately create a urge for the drinking to increase the water levels in the blood of the person. Again, feeding center or hunger center. This is responsible for creating a feeling for the feeding. This is the reason for the urge for the feeding. Definitely satiety center means a satisfactory center. Means after feeding certain amount of the food material, person gets satisfied. That is mainly due to the activation of the satiety center. This is the satisfactory center. Means definitely whenever the person feeds on certain amount of the food, he feels as full of stomach. That is mainly due to the activation of the satiety center. That is said to be as the satisfactory center. Again, sixth one, autonomic nervous system functioning center. Definitely hypothalamus also regulate autonomic nervous system functioning also. Autonomic nervous system functions also under the control of that kind of the hypothalamus. In that way, in the case of the hypothalamus, what are the centers which are present to regulate various body functions means, one is the thermoregulatory center, second osmoregulatory center, third one is the thirst center, fourth one is the feeding or the hunger center, fifth one is the satiety center, sixth one is the autonomic nervous system functioning center. Next part, that is the limbic system or limbic lobe. Definitely in the case of the cerebrum, this limbic system or limbic lobe is present. Just assume this is said to be as the hippocampal lobe. This is said to be as the amygdala. This is the hippocampal lobe. This is said to be as the amygdala. These two structures together constitute limbic system or limbic lobe. These two structures together constitute limbic system or limbic lobe. Definitely along with the hypothalamus, this limbic system perform various functions. Definitely alone limbic system may not be perform any function. Along with the hypothalamus, this limbic system perform following functions. What are they? One is the emotional expressions. Definitely limbic system along with the hypothalamus regulate emotional expressions. What are the emotional expression? Either the happiness or rage or fear or excitement, whatever it may be, emotional expressions are under the control of the limbic system along with the hypothalamus. Due to this reason, limbic system is also called as emotional brain. Limbic system along with the hypothalamus regulate emotional expressions. Due to that reason, this limbic system is also called as the emotional brain. Second one is that sexual behavior. Definitely sexual behavior of the person is mainly due to the limbic system along with the hypothalamus, and motivation means whenever the students are subjected to the counseling, whenever they are with the counseling, during that definitely they becomes motivated, they becomes active towards their studies, they may be concentrated towards their studies. So during that, what is the center which is gets activated means limbic system along with the hypothalamus, whenever they are gets activated, then person is gets motivated. Motivation. Next, olfaction. Definitely this limbic system along with the hypothalamus also regulate sense of the smell, that is said to be as the olfaction. Again, autonomic nervous system functioning also under the control of that kind of the limbic system along with the hypothalamus. So limbic system along with the hypothalamus regulate emotional expression, sexual behavior, motivation, olfaction. Autonomic nervous system functioning is also under the control of the limbic system along with the hypothalamus. Next part in the case of the brain is the midbrain. Next part which is present in the brain of the person is said to be as the midbrain. Just assume this is the diencephalon. This is nothing but cerebrum. Below to that kind of the hypothalamus, whatever the portion of brain which is present, that is said to be as the midbrain. In the case of the midbrain, 4 rounded structures are present. They are said to be as the optic lobes. Definitely midbrain is present below to the hypothalamus. Whatever the part of the brain which is present, that is said to be as the midbrain or mesencephalon. In the midbrain, 4 optic lobes are present. 4 optic lobes are present. Definitely these are the 4 optic lobes. If the 4 optic lobes are present, then that condition is said to be as the corpora quadrigemina. If 4 optic lobes are present on the ventral side of the midbrain, then that condition is said to be as the corpora quadrigemina. Of these 4 optic lobes, superior optic lobes are big in size. These are said to be as the superior colliculi. Again, posterior optic lobes are small in size. These are inferior colliculi. Definitely of the 4 optic lobe, superior optic lobes are big in size. They are said to be as the superior colliculi. Posterior optic lobes are small in size. They are said to be as the inferior colliculi. These are considered for vision or sight. Definitely superior colliculi principally useful for the sight. Inferior colliculi are considered for hearing of sounds. For the listening of the sound, inferior colliculi principally useful. For the vision or sight, superior colliculi principally useful. So definitely between the two sides of optic lobes, whatever the canal which is runs towards the medulla oblongata, between the two sides of the lobes, whatever the duct, whatever the canal which is runs towards the medulla, that part is said to be as the iter or Sylvian aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. So definitely between the two sides of the cerebral hemispheres, between the two sides of the optic lobes, whatever the duct which is gets to passes, whatever the canal which is gets to passes, that is said to be as the iter or Sylvian aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. Similarly, on the dorsal side of optic lobes, whatever the longitudinal nerve bands which are present, on the dorsal side of the optic lobe, whatever the longitudinal nerve bands which are present, this longitudinal nerve bands are said to be as the crura cerebri. These are said to be as the crura cerebri or cerebral peduncle. These are said to be as the crura cerebri or cerebral peduncles. Definitely they connect this diencephalon with pons varolii. Crura cerebris connect diencephalon with pons varolii. To connect the diencephalon with pons varolii, this crura cerebris or the cerebral peduncles are principally useful. Means longitudinal nerve bands which are present, that kind of the longitudinal nerve bands are said to be as the crura cerebri or the cerebral peduncle. Definitely they anteriorly connect the diencephalon, posteriorly connect to the pons varolii. Next part which is present in the case of the brain, that is said to be as the hind brain. Next part is the hind brain. This is also called as rhombencephalon. Hind brain is said to be as the rhombencephalon. Definitely in the case of the hind brain, what are the portions which are present means just assume. This is nothing but diencephalon. This is the cerebrum. This is the cerebrum. This is the diencephalon. These are the optic lobes. That is the midbrain. Below to that, whatever the box shaped structure which is present, this is said to be as the pons varolii. That is said to be as the pons varolii. Lateral to pons varolii, little brain, that is said to be as the cerebellum is present. Posterior to pons varolii, medulla oblongata is present. Definitely this is said to be as the cerebellum or little brain. Definitely this is said to be as the medulla. This is the medulla oblongata. This is said to be as the pons varolii. So in the pons varolii, definitely axon bundles are present. Axon bundles are present like this. This axon bundles connect two sides of the cerebellar hemispheres like this. Definitely in the cerebellum also cerebellar hemispheres are present. This axon bundles which are present in the pons varolii connect cerebellar hemispheres one with another, and also this pons varolii axon bundles connect this anterior part of the brain with the medulla. Definitely axon bundles which are present in the pons varoli connect the pons varoli with the spinal cord and cerebellum with the spinal cord and anterior part of the brain with the medulla. Definitely pons varoli is with the bundles of axons. That axon bundles connect two sides of the cerebellar hemispheres one with another and also connect the cerebellar hemispheres with the spinal cord and also connect anterior parts of the brain with the posterior part of the brain also. In that way, pons varoli is acts as relay center. By having the axon bundle, this pons varoli connect various parts of the brain one with another. Definitely it connect the two sides of the cerebellar hemispheres one with another. It also connect cerebellum with the spinal cord. It also connect anterior parts of the brain with the medulla. Like that way, pons varoli is with the axon bundle. With the help of the axon bundle, it connect various parts of the brain one with another and also it connect the cerebellum with the spinal cord. In that way, this axon bundles principally useful to conduct the information from the anterior part of the brain to the medulla and from the cerebellum to the spinal cord. In a such way, this is acts as the relay station. This pons varoli acts as the relay station. Again, in the case of the pons varoli, a principal center is present. This center is said to be as the pneumotaxic center. Definitely in the pons varoli, whatever the respiratory center which is present, that is said to be as the pneumotaxic center. This is useful to increase the rate of breathing. Definitely to increase the breathing rate, this pneumotaxic center is a lot useful. It is useful to increase the force of breathing. Definitely for forced inspiration and forced expiration, this pneumotaxic center principally useful. It is the reason to increase the breathing rate. It is the reason for the forced inspiration as well as the forced expiration. Next, what is the part of the hindbrain means cerebellum.